you got to NFL, which is, the highest level in the United States, you are an athlete now. And then you find out you have a neck injury.
Yep.
So what happens? Your life, crashes?
Yeah, so technically yes, because everything that I did leading up to that point was to get to the NFL, but I never wanted to do something that I wasn't inspired to do. So I don't have the traditional story of working a 9 to 5 and then eventually leaving that and doing my own thing. There's something in me that's just craves independence and doesn't ever want to do something I don't want to do. I have hobbies for myself outside of what I do for coaching. So I think a lot of coaches and people that are very empathetic can find identity in the thing, but I don't find identity in my work.
Miami drama's the game. Never one and the same. Excitement and depth in every frame. Join the fame. Agata and Kinga send the fame.
Hi guys, this is our new next podcast, Miami Drama. I, Agata,
Kinga?
and our guest. Can you tell us something more about you?
Yeah, so I'm a life coach. I've been a life coach for the men that are the ones that everybody else goes to for guidance. So think about the guys that run the businesses, that have their own businesses, that tend to be the one that everybody else relies on to be able to help them work through their stuff. I'm the guy that those guys go to. So I'm a little more private in regards to the work that I do, but I like it that way. So I'm a former NFL athlete as well. I think that's where I learned how to be able to perform at the highest level, to be able to relate to the men that I work with, and also for a period of time work with women, which maybe we can talk about later.
Okay.
But my background is football, and now I live around the world in different places, coaching and helping men be able to perform at the highest level possible in whatever they want to do.
But originally you are from where?
I'm from South Dakota.
Oh.
So small little state that most people have never been to, let alone heard of.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of good people.
So let's just go a little back. So you were, what, NFL player?
Yeah, I had the opportunity, had a neck injury to where I could never play again.
Okay, so, and that was something that brought you to your coaching?
Yeah, so I was
Because I want to understand. So
Yeah.
so you playing in you're a football player.
Yep.
You got to NFL, which is the highest level in the United States. You are an athlete now, and then you find out you have a neck injury.
Yep.
So what happens? Your life, crashes?
Yeah, so technically yes, because everything that I did leading up to that point was to get to the NFL. Now I also had the
What
degree.
Okay. So what NFL? What team?
Kansas City.
Kansas City. Okay,
Yep.
wow.
So yep. But I had a finance degree, so that was my backup plan.
Yes.
But when it became a reality to actually do it, there was no way I was going to be sitting in an office doing that all day. So instead, I just rode my bike to the library every day for about a month straight. Just picked up book after book. Whatever I was interested in, I read about.
Okay.
I picked up a book called The Biology of Belief by a guy named Bruce Lipton.
Oh, okay.
And he talks about how to be able to create your own heaven on earth, how to manufacture it through science. And I thought that was pretty fascinating. So I'm like, okay, well, I want to do this for myself. I want to help other people in the process.
But why would you want to do it for yourself? I just think something triggered you, or something happened that you reached out for that book, or you start studying. I just don't believe oh my God, I'm playing football, now I get a neck injury, I can't play, now I'm going to be a coach.
Yeah.
I don't think it happens overnight. There's
No.
something. So tell us a little more about that.
Yeah, so it was actually a recommendation from a mentor of mine with
Okay.
the guy that I relied on for nutrition stuff and different supplements during my time playing football. So he recommended the book to me when I got done.
Okay.
But I've always been a leader. I was a 2-year captain in a Division I college football program.
Yeah.
So leading people and helping people become the best versions of themselves was something I was always pretty interested in. And then I found out I could make a profession out of it, which I was like, okay, well, if I can make this a business, I can do what I love and make money doing it. I didn't always make money doing it, which, I'm sure anybody that starts a business goes through that process of growing pains of starting something new. But I never wanted to do something that I wasn't inspired to do. So I don't have the traditional story of working a 9 to 5 and then eventually leaving that and doing my own thing. There's something in me that's just craves independence and doesn't ever want to do something I don't want to do. So naturally I chose a career path that allowed me to be who I wanted to be at the highest level and not have to compromise in doing what I want to do.
So who are your clients? What kind of men that reach out to you? Actually, and how do they find you as well?
Most are referrals.
Okay.
Yeah, entrepreneurs, the majority entrepreneurs, decent amount of finance, a little finance as well, most entrepreneurs.
Yeah, but it's now. In the beginning, how did they find you?
So I started as a personal trainer. So I told myself that I would never be a personal trainer. I had really negative associations with it. But I figured that was a good outlet for me to get into the industry. Because I was young, I just got done playing football. I'm like, well, how can I get into the space of being able to help people? Like, well, I know the physical body really well. So I first went into personal training, and that's when I got my first clients. Doing personal training as well as the mental emotional work that I was doing with my clients. But then that got boring for me, and I moved to Miami from South Dakota and started working on the internal health side of things. So people with autoimmune conditions and different digestive disorders. I got obsessed about learning about that. And I was a really big guy. I was like 235 pounds, 240 pounds, but I had a lot of gas, heartburn, and bloating and those types of things. So that's what initially got me really excited about it. So I transitioned completely from being a personal trainer to working my own business where I created a program for people with these conditions. After I'd worked through it myself, I thought I can help other people do it. So I was really excited about teaching people about the internal health side of things, not just the physical body.
So you pretty much put yourself to first, I mean, as an athlete, first you were working out, you know, having probably high protein diet. Now you notice there is something not in tune inside. Again, you did the exercise on yourself.
Yes.
And now you're spreading the message.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
So then I got to a point with a lot of my clients that had different autoimmune conditions, male and female, that the problems persisted, like they would go away, but then they'd come back if they hadn't dealt with something deeper emotionally that they had going on. So a lot of the physical issues people were having stemmed from something deeper emotionally that they hadn't resolved.
The trauma.
Yeah.
Childhood drama or...
Yeah, or different, just a story they had about themselves or who they believed they were. A lot of people tended to be self-sacrificers, so people that would put other people first often tend to be the people that have the most internal physical issues. Which makes sense if you think about it.
So it's like anxiety, like anxiety, stress.
Yeah, we always put other people first. So if you think about it just logically for a second, naturally, if you're someone that puts other people first, you're teaching yourself all the time that others matter more than you.
So you're also in defense.
Correct, but then your body, if you think about it, your brain is telling your body that how we think, how we feel doesn't matter. So your body is starting to not prioritize itself naturally, shutting down some of the systems that normally should run properly. So if you just think about it, it makes sense, right? Like, well, if I'm putting others first, I'm teaching myself that I don't matter. Therefore, my body's receiving that stimuli and it's adjusting accordingly. So a lot of women and men that I worked with tend to have traits of putting other people first, way more than themselves, which allowed their physical body to start to dysfunction.
So I understand every person is different. You know, you have probably individual protocols, but like, just for us, we haven't done this. You're not coaching us. Like, what would be like just a simple protocol? Like, you think like, well, like doesn't work for everybody, but you have some kind of formula, right? That you go by.
Like for everyday life, you know,
Like, besides even going to deep,
what we should do.
As far as food goes?
I mean, no, the whole, exactly, the food, because it's all combined, right?
Yeah, my personal mentality surrounding food is root vegetables, so sweet potatoes, regular potatoes. There's all different variations of sweet potatoes that I have.
What about the meat?
Meat, I think is phenomenal. I love meat, but it's all about the quality of the meat. So 100% grass-fed, grass-finished, no antibiotics, no steroids. Make sure the quality that you get is phenomenal. So root vegetables, meats, fruits, high quality, organic, always. I don't eat a ton of vegetables. I think vegetables are pretty polluted by the system as far as different pesticides and herbicides that are really bad. So if you can get super high quality vegetables, I think they're great. But most of my diet is root vegetables, high quality meats, fattier meats. So like beef, like lamb, salmon, eggs, and then honey as well. So and fermented things.
Yeah, we love
sure. Yeah, from Poland.
So
yeah, you guys have the kefir big there.
Yes.
Yeah.
My son actually last night he was eating sauerkraut.
Yeah, I love it.
He loves it. He's like, "Mom, give me sauerkraut," you know, and it's so good. It means a probiotic, not some probiotic. What would be the one, or maybe not one, maybe like 3 foods you would say just stay away? Besides
well, maybe some ones that are like a little you wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
So apples, non-organic apples, I would stay away from completely. There's a list of fruits that, if not organic, tend to be the highest in concentration of herbicides and pesticides that are terrible for us. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was a study done on frogs where they gave one of the pesticides to the frogs and their sex started to change over time. The men started to turn into women.
Oh, wow.
It was unreal. You can look it up. It's crazy. So that's the effect. I mean, we're wondering why men are becoming so much more feminine in society, and there's all the issues that we're having. Well, some of the things that we're putting onto our foods are causing some of the this transition, literally, at a physical, biological level, to hormonally to our bodies. So it's pretty crazy to see that study. So non-organic apples, I think, are a big one.
And in Poland, we are eating a lot of apples. It's like, everybody.
If they're high quality organic, great.
No, not organic, you know, directly on the tree.
No,
Yeah.
but I mean, but it's, I mean,
They're probably not commercial.
No, but Europeans, they have a different standards.
Yes.
They're like they don't really buy anything from America. I don't know if you. Yeah. But I mean, fruits are actually we got fruits from.
Yeah. We have like apples with bananas and everything, you know.
Yeah, but think about it. If it's a fruit that doesn't have something protecting it, generally you're gonna want to always have it organic. Tomatoes are also a big one that can cause issues with people.
I heard that they're very inflammatory to bring like that shadow.
Yeah, something called phytates, so phytic acid.
Well,
Well, that's where it gets really difficult, right? Like we could say there's something wrong with almost everything.
Yeah.
But
it wasn't like a nightshade, like tomatoes, peppers, eggplant. That's
Yes.
the category of stay away.
Yeah.
I did follow Tom Brady, some of his insights with his diet. So.
Yep, that was a big one. There was no nightshades on the program.
Yeah.
Let's-
So okay, that's vegetables and fruit, but from other food, like what about dairy? Are you pro dairy or?
I'm pro dairy
Uh-huh.
if it's from high quality sources. So I'm sure in Poland, you guys had some really high quality raw dairy, kefir, milk, yogurt, cheeses. So I'm pro dairy 100% when it comes down to being high quality. If you can get it from a local farm or you can get raw, 100% grass-fed, grass-finished, no antibiotics, no steroids. But traditional dairy, I would stay farm.
okay, so what do you think, for example, about the vegan people?
I worked with some vegans, and it can be done if you really need to do it, but I would advise against it the majority of the time. I don't think it's necessary. If they're doing it for the love of animals, I guess I understand, but the vegans that talk about it being bad to eat meat, it's all misinformation. Like all the documentaries talking about how terrible meat is, how eating like an egg yolk is equivalent to smoking like 3 cigarettes, stupid shit like that, it's completely wrong. As far as meats though that are like traditional, that you get from the commercial, regular chicken, regular beef that is from not great sources, I would advise against it because of the inflammatory properties it's probably going to have, right? Like an animal can't have the nutrients that the food they eat doesn't have. So if a cow's eating corn and wheat, highly genetically modified corn and wheat, with a ton of fertilizer, herbicides and pesticides thrown onto them, like the meat and the quality of the fat, that most of the nutrients actually found in the fat can't be very high, right? So, but if a cow's eating grass, then they found actually it's higher in omega-3s, higher in CLA, which is a natural fat burner, which is found in the fat of the beef. So, I mean, if an animal's eating shitty foods, then naturally you can't have the nutrient quality that you'd want. But also you think about energetically, right? Animals living in a really tight-knit space, they can't move, not able to experience happiness per se, which hormonally it matters, right? The type of hormones that are released in the body of an animal determine the quality of the animal. So if it's
That's a
under
good point. I didn't even think of it that way.
So if it's under high amounts of stress, naturally, how can the meat hold any high, let's say high energetic state? But if a cow's living its life out in the grass and it's running around and enjoying itself, and naturally the quality of the meat energetically is going to hold that as well.
So the menu you need to know, from where do you have a meat and then everything.
Yeah, the quality. Which it's difficult and it's expensive, but I mean, no matter where I've been at, I've always invested.
But
money.
being vegan is also expensive.
Yeah.
Some of the people.
Okay,
And a lot of the
being-
food is trash.
And being
can go into
I
that if
think
you
being
want.
unhealthy is very expensive. Because when you're unhealthy, when you don't invest in yourself, then you're getting sick, you can't really move. I mean,
That's true.
But it's being able to live past the moment. I think a lot of people that live in a state of eating shitty food, they're probably not investing in other areas of life properly either,
as well.
right? They're probably not making high quality investment options. They're probably not investing in high quality relationships in the long run. So
And they are all the time hungry, you know. For example, if you are
It's all sugar.
getting, you know, the
because there's no
after
nutrients.
1 hour.
Yeah.
So you are eating, and
Yeah. Because our bodies are craving nutrients, right? So
Yeah.
I talk about the meat. If the meat doesn't have the nutrients that the foods they were eating didn't have, then naturally you can't consume any nutrients. So your body, it doesn't matter how much fats or proteins or carbs you consume, your body's looking for nutrients that it's not getting. So you might be eating more and be getting, like you said,
Yeah,
hungrier
exactly.
sooner because you're not getting the nutrients.
So I'm shocked here because I've met so many doctors, coaches, and you're actually the first person that, you know, you work on a spiritual level with your clients, but you break it down their habits. You talk about the food, right? So, you know, you're looking, you know, that because food does affect you. Like it does affect your mood,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah. Energetically, emotionally.
So we got the food, now what's the next step?
Yeah. We'll start with the physical body, so like being able to move and be healthy in that way, and then you go to the food, the internal side of the health side of things. And then the next step is dealing with the emotional body.
Okay.
So
That's the hardest part, you think?
it depends on the person. Some people it's easier for,
Okay.
it depends on the story they have in their head about the different things that have happened to them. Some people it's easier to focus on the physical part where they're just working out all the time and eating healthy, but to deal with the emotional part is really difficult. Other people are more willing to go into the emotional part,
Before the
but
food.
yeah, but
They don't have the discipline for that.
yes, but they don't have the discipline to be able to do the more physical part. So each person's different. I enjoy the emotional part the most, which is why I've actually almost completely moved away from the physical part as far as training goes and the internal with the food. I don't talk about it really at all anymore. So this is kind of cool to be able to like talk about it right now with you guys because it was something I was super deep in and I worked with people for a long time on.
You're elevated to it.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm most excited about the mental, emotional part of life and the stories that people have. And it's crazy how programmed we are as people, how our brains are mostly just computers. And the way that we live our lives most of the time is just in response to certain events that have happened to us at different times. Now, it's not even necessarily, people talk about traumas or very painful moments, but our brains don't just adjust to painful moments, they adjust to all moments. So our minds are like a computer that's adjusted to the series of events that have happened in our lives, most of the time in younger ages.
Okay.
So even beyond just traumatic moments, there's moments that have happened consistently that our brains just adapt to survive. And so I find all of those different stories and I help eliminate them and rewire them.
That's interesting.
So, in your experience, how long it takes to understand correctly our body, our mind, you know, everything?
It's an evolving relationship, always. I think especially as we age, as things happen, we can't get away with things that we used to be able to do when we were younger. So naturally we have to be even more gentle on our bodies. And also we're having different events that are happening to us that we're adjusting to as we're understanding ourselves. So I don't just understand myself, I'm still going through more things that my brain's going to adapt to. It's an evolving, ever-changing process of understanding ourselves. And I think it's better to see it as that than to think of it as like a destination where I've now fully understood everything about me, but more so just always being open to learning more about myself as new situations happen. Because there's some things that I'll never know about myself until a certain circumstance happens to where I have to show up in that moment.
Right.
So that's why I love new things that happen in my life, because it gives me an opportunity to see who I really am in these different moments. Whereas other people might shy away from new experiences. I love the idea of wondering, how am I going to be in this circumstance
Right.
that I've never done before?
So they give people tools. So if something happens in their life, they're not maybe prepared, but they have something to fall on.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
So it's like for me, like I work out because this is something always brings me back where I need to be. So even if something happens, even if I'm happy or not happy, or something dramatic happened to my life, I know this is my therapy role. I go to work out. That's what helps me. Yeah, it helps with my, clears my head. So I feel like that's when you're coaching the people, you give them some kind of certain tools. So even if life throws some lemons at them, they're ready.
Yeah.
It's that kind of,
Also the tips,
Exactly.
they are following them and finding their own way.
So
And really most of what I do is I help people discover more of who they truly are. So it's all just
So
a
you're
big
digging.
self-discovery. Yeah, exactly. So there's other people that do more of like, hey, you're gonna come, I'm gonna give you a program, we're gonna give you tools to be able to help navigate, but I more so just unpack the self. Like I help them unpack themselves so they can understand themselves more. So they don't have to rely on other tools, but they can just know that when this thing happens, sometimes they respond in this way because this happened in their life, so they can adjust accordingly. So most of it's all just about knowing and understanding ourselves. And so what I do with people is I help them understand themselves at a much deeper level. So when things happen, they know how to navigate themselves.
Yeah. So how do you deal, you're meeting all these people, obviously they, they're taking some of your energy out. I mean, it has to be draining. So what do you do to, fill your energy back to your level? Because, every time when you do any work, when you help people, you give a part of yourself.
And also they are giving you, for example, the negative energy
as well
too. So
like what do you do to reward yourself?
Yeah. So you know what's really what's really interesting is I actually go back to, I've learned how to, instead of being a net catching all of their stuff, I'm more of a strainer that it just goes through. I just let it pass through. I let it pass through. So I've learned how to be able to navigate people in a way where I'm not giving all of myself, and I'm more so just allowing whatever's coming from them to pass through me. And so I can talk a little bit more about what that means.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So a lot of very empathetic people are very invested in other people. Like I'm sure you guys are very empathetic in how you show up and talk to people, and you're very invested in the conversation. So what happens is when I get too deep or invested, that's when I lose myself. And so when I first started to practice this, I kicked myself out of that place of getting lost in the moment with them. So I tap my foot, like, oh, separate, ooh, separate, ooh, separate. So now when they're talking, I'm not losing myself in them as they're speaking. They're just talking through me. And then there's moments where my brain knows when to speak or when to talk, but I'm not holding everything that they're saying. It's just passing through me. So I learned how to be very empathetic while also being allowed their emotions, whatever they're experiencing, to, instead of getting caught in me, pass through me. So I just keep myself aware. I'll tap my foot when I first started to practice this, of not allowing their shit to get stuck inside of me. So it's a very intentional practice that I'll do.
Were there any clients that you were like, just wow? We don't have to discuss what happened or you heard, but were you like just taken back and you couldn't believe the story?
Yes, and I also want to fully, because that was the first part of the question. I want to make sure, like, before I spoke about things I do to be able to replenish myself, I want to talk about things that someone could do to prevent themselves from getting depleted in the first place. But what I always make sure that there's a level of balance in my life with different things. So there's a healthy connection with feminine in my life that I'm having, so I'm able to go to that when coaching's done. I'm able to have friendships, like high quality relationships with people that I can go to where I'm enjoying my time with them. I have hobbies for myself outside of what I do for coaching. So I think a lot of coaches and people that are very empathetic can find identity in the thing, but I don't find identity in my work. It's my work and it's a gift that I have, but I also have all these other dimensions to myself, to where I don't need that thing to feel okay about me because I have these other things in my life.
You still evolving.
Exactly.
It's very good.
That make me feel good. So I think that's very important to not identify with the gift. I don't want to get lost in it. I want to say, hey, this is a part of me, but it's not who I am.
Exactly, that's a good point. And you take time off too. We talked about this before.
Exactly.
You know how to completely shut the door and just
enjoy your
yeah, I literally I cut all my clients off. It's different parts of the year when I feel like my energy is starting to be less excited about it, because part of me is an explorer. I have Viking blood, like I have Norwegian blood. I've always felt very connected to Viking culture. And so I need to go out and raid and explore and expand and go to new lands. And so being in one place for too long doing the same thing gets a little energy depleting for me. So I always need seasons where I'm kind of like, okay, I'm done with this for a little while. I need to go off and explore and go out, try new things and experience new things.
And learn new stuff.
That's my becoming time, where I become more, where I'm not always just coaching, where I become in those times. And I come back
And
and
it benefits your clients too.
oh, exactly. They don't love it when I leave, but they love when I do because they love to be able to
So when you
experience it
leave,
later.
there's no phone, no Zoom, no FaceTime, nothing with your clients?
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah, for a period. Yeah, for
Wow. So you're really
I still
teaching
learning
them
to
like
do
to
it.
cut the
Yeah.
art too.
Right, but it's more about me because a lot of people are afraid to not make any direct money too, right? So they'll intentionally not give themselves that time, but I did that on purpose. I wanted to go through what it feels like to not have any money coming in.
Yeah.
Now I have some investments that I have on the back end,
Right.
but as far as the cash flow, when I stopped working,
You're not getting
I'm not getting paid, but I did that on purpose because I wanted to be able to still be the person that I am when I'm successful, when I'm not having money coming in.
Right.
I think a lot of very
And that's the
successful people,
stress.
yeah, exactly.
That's
And
the
be able to,
stress, yes.
yeah, and be able to still be who I know I am, even if I
Right.
don't have money coming in.
Yeah.
There's a lot of successful people that when they got money coming in, they're like, "Oh, I'm the man. Oh, I feel really good about myself." But what about when you cut it off? What about when you don't? When you don't get that validation associated with
Right,
money
yeah.
and success to come in?
And also,
Who are you then?
Yeah, and also a lot of CEOs and very successful people, it's a number, so it's never enough. And it's not that they need the money or they want the money; it is a number. So they just keep
hazards,
No, you just keep going,
numbers.
trying to get more and more and more. And when do you get that break?
Yeah, but you cannot do it only, in your life, things for the money.
No.
Yes.
A lot of things to do behind, yeah.
Yeah.
What is your hobby?
I play paddle
Uh-huh.
tennis.
What else?
It's something I really enjoy. But probably my main hobby is trying and experiencing new things that I spoke about earlier and just kind of seeing how I am when I show up in that environment. I love that. I love being able to go out and just try new things and see who I am when I...
You're not afraid.
No, it's what I love. So I'm like, well, if that's what I love to do, why wouldn't I get paid to do that?
Yeah.
If I just love trying new things and exploring myself in the context of those new things, why would I not do a profession that I can get paid to do that? So my clients pay me to basically do what I love to do, which is explore myself deeper so I can help them explore themselves deeper.
And you prefer doing the, yourself or with your friends, family?
Both, yeah. So I've gone through longer periods where I've traveled alone and done my own thing, but now as I've gotten older, I think I've enjoyed doing things with friends a little more, but I always have to have periods of time in the year where I go off on my own. And I'll do that August, September.
That's amazing. A lot of people I know actually, and I think it's like the sickness of our century. They don't like to be alone.
Yes.
And especially now with the social media, like there's always the phone. Like people would lose the phone for a day, or they get all freaked out. They always have to have a constant attention, right?
Yes,
So that's
definitely.
So learning that, it's really
But also at the same time, people are more lonely now, I think, than
Yeah,
at
exactly.
the time.
I see the same.
So more connected on the phones, but obviously less directly, intimately connected with people.
or you're with themselves.
Right,
They
exactly.
go on the phone for a reason. I mean, we all know social media, but
Yeah.
I have breaks as well. I really try to not to.
Yeah, we have to because it's like, crazy sometimes.
And even we always tell people to like whatever you see on social media is not who the people are.
Exactly, it's like a 5-15 minutes per 24 hours. It's like they don't know us, honestly, but they are sitting and living our lives. It's crazy sometimes.
It is. But that's where you have to be more interested in your life than in other people's lives. And
Exactly.
that can be difficult to be able to create that life for yourself if you don't know how, or there's stories in your mind that are preventing you from being able to do that. But it's weird. I feel like a lot of people, a good majority of people, actually find more enjoyment living through other people than actually living in themselves. And I can't relate to that just because...
Why do you think it's that way? From your coaching experience?
Because not everybody can be a king, not everybody can be a queen. I don't think nature created everybody to be the one that's going out and making things happen. I don't think nature would be balanced if it did that. So naturally, exactly. So I think nature didn't make tons and tons of kings and tons of queens. I think nature designed it in a way where some people aren't meant to do that. They more live just like more simple.
And they all important in a
Exactly, and everybody plays their role within society. But I think a lot of people that aren't meant to be doing that at the highest level, if they just don't have the capacity for it, are trying to like make themselves do that because they see people on social media doing that. But I think most of it's just about understanding yourself and like what you truly want with life. Are you someone that really wants to make $10-20 million, or are you someone that actually doesn't care very much and you just want to enjoy your time and be with the people that you love? And so now with social media and so many influencers and people getting lost in other people's lives, it's difficult for them to be able to navigate what they really want. So
you want to become. That's a good point.
And they are not focused, you know, they have like a being together and they don't know the way.
And I don't think any of the softwares want you to stay focused. That's why they want you to be all over the place. I was just reading, even going back to, you know, he's single girls.
Oh,
I was just reading something.
You have an Instagram.
Yeah.
We will put the Instagram. You can write.
No, but they were talking about the dating apps, right? The dating apps are designed not for you to find somebody because they want your money. They want the subscription. So they want you to come back and go on more dates.
Yes.
Even Netflix doesn't want you to go and come up with an idea and big, you know, be a big person. They want you to be glued to the TV. That's how they make money.
Well, that's the problem is like it gets people dates, but people don't know how to intimately connect.
Right.
So it doesn't matter how many dates you get if you don't know how to intimately connect with somebody else.
Exactly. Like, I'm such an old school. Like I still read regular books. Some of my friends are laughing. It's like, you really ordered a book? I'm like, yes, I like to hold the book in my hand. I like the smell of the paper. I
hate ebooks, audiobooks.
I don't like the light.
I need a book.
I read a couple of them, but I don't feel like I read the book.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no.
But when I finish a book and I put it on my shelf, like, I accomplished something.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely. And I mean, naturally, the amount of work that we put into something is the amount that we're going to value it. So even for myself, I'll notice, because I've been on dating apps at different periods of my life. And if it's so easy, like swipe and make it happen, then I've noticed myself not really valuing the interaction as much. Whereas if I force myself to go out, approach somebody, talk to them, get their number, go through the process of meeting, then naturally I'm going to value that interaction with them.
And
so
even and even the rejection, you don't know if you're gonna get the number on the app, you're just gonna swipe to the next.
Yes.
Here, if you're not gonna get the number, or she's gonna give you, you know, sorry, I'm already in a relationship, you have to deal with that, right? Because you did put yourself out there, you got a crush, but it's okay, you gotta get up.
Yeah.
And, you know, try one more time. When on the phone, you can just be like, okay, next.
Yes. But it is so easy to fall for that. Even like me, I think I'm a very conscious person. I can easily get into a path of just being reliant on that to where it's like, it's easier, the path of least resistance. Like I can easily just like swipe and get matches, but I don't like what that does to my brain. So I have to like intentionally shut myself off from it, get rid of it, and then do it the old school way. Force myself to go out.
I mean, message of dating apps never for me. Like, I don't know. I don't think I could have. I'm such an old school.
I didn't have an app. The dating app. Did you have it? No.
No. But you've been married forever, so you're confusing.
Okay. But even before, I didn't use it, you know?
No, it's not for me. It's not for me. I'm too old for that.
Oh, yeah.
Old school.
Yes. But even with, so like I said, we won't value the interaction if it doesn't take any effort in the process of getting it. It's kind of like a book club, going back to you guys say you love the physical hard copy of the book. I order my books on Amazon. I'd like to be able to go to the store and get a book, but if you get up, go to a store, buy the book, you're probably going to value the book a lot more than if you just order it on audiobook. So naturally, you're going to be able to probably dive deeper into the book the more time and energy you spend in the process of getting it.
And also you see the process. Like when I have a book, you know, I see the pages on the app. You don't see it. Like you have to know like how many pages. It's like 100 or 200 when you can actually physically see it when you read.
Yeah, of course. And you see this book, you know, okay, I have to read, I want to read, you know, I'm wondering what it will be inside, you know, at the end. And on the ebook, it's like,
it's that personal. Right, so we have to ask you.
Very important question.
So,
ask me.
We need some drama here.
Hit me.
Miami drama. What's the biggest drama since you moved to Miami? Don't be shy.
Maybe a little drama right before I moved to Miami.
Okay, sure.
When I was living in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was seeing a girl, Russian actually, close to your guys' neck of the woods. And we were talking, it was actually a pretty good interaction. And then she just ghosted me for like 2 weeks.
Okay.
I was like, what the heck is going on? Just out of nowhere.
What's up with the ghosting right now anyway? People just ghost. You know, this is like something a new thing for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, think about it. It makes sense though, right? If like I easily just have access to other people, I can just discard people. It's the swiping culture in general.
Yes, but it's just so. I think like, why would you just say I don't want to talk to you? I need my space. You just be human. They just ghost you, like, and it's not even in dating. It's even in business.
It's also your experience.
Huh?
It's also your experience.
Yes, I've been ghosted. Okay, right here.
No, but I think people in general though, it's much easier to just do that than to say something.
So I'm sorry I interrupt you. So 2 weeks she ghosted you and what?
Yeah, and I didn't know where she was at, what was going on. So
I
just kind of like moved on a little bit, and all of a sudden she reaches out to me one day, and I'm like, she's like, hey, can we get together? I'm like, sure. So we ended up getting together. She came over, and we started talking. And I was like, so where did you go? She's like, well, I started dating Leonardo DiCaprio, so I just didn't say anything to you. I was like, what? Like, so why are you here right now?
Right, yes.
She's like, well, because he gets rid of girls when.
Oh, nice.
So
she back.
Yeah, and I'm like, so I was the next best thing after. I was just like thinking about it in my head. I'm like, what the heck is that?
So you ghost me not to make you feel bad because it's Leonardo DiCaprio, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, so what's this? And it was just weird from there, and ended up like fizzling out. But we ended up talking a little bit as friends a bit. But it was just like that was a really weird interaction that I had. I was like, what the heck is that? Like.
So that's only one time you got ghosted?
Ghosted?
No.
Well, it depends. Like, you know, it depends. Like, we're talking about like dating apps, like, or people that I've actually interacted with. I would say people that I've like gone on dates with. No.
That was the biggest one.
Yeah, but I think it's because I know how to like form intimacy with people.
Yeah, I think it's
like I know like to create space where we actually like, have connection. To where they won't ghost. But I think if people stay really superficial and shallow in their relationships, there's not any deeper connection, so people feel more comfortable ghosting.
Yeah, but I mean also maybe, but then there might be some other issues with that people. I personally don't think I know.
I think they don't understand themselves. So this is the reason also.
But if you like have empathy, like, you're not gonna ghost. Like I just think it's so rude. Whatever you guys thinking about ghosting, it's fun. No, it's just rude. Like, what are your manners?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I better just say, you know what?
If you don't wanna, okay, say no. Okay, bye.
We can revisit later.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people just kind of like to let things just fizzle out, and it's easier to do that than
on the carpet.
Yeah, I've always been someone where I enjoy like understanding what something is, and there to be open communication, and to like properly have like, okay, this is done or this isn't done. I just maybe grew up like that, so that's I'm that way.
And not every relationship has to go, you know, have to be intimate relationship or a business deal, right?
Yes.
It can fade away, but you can still be friends.
Yeah.
Or have, because at the end of the day, the world is so small, and we do run into each other, unfortunately. So of the ghosts, you never know.
Yes.
Right.
Be careful.
Be careful.
Yep.
Okay, thank you so much. It was an amazing conversation. So I hope we will meet again.
Yeah.
After a couple of months. And you will tell us something more.
Maybe about your travels, because
maybe you will write a book. So we will be ending this.
I got a really interesting idea about a book that nobody else. This is something that is so outside the realm of what anybody would do as far as a book goes.
So be here first.
Yeah.
Okay. See, amazing. So. Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
guys. Bye.
Cheers, guys.
Miami dramas the game. Never one and the same. Excitement and depth in every frame. Join the journey, join the fame. Agata and Kinga, set in the flame.